Nancy glowered at the skeleton in the red tie. "I think we both know why you knocked me out. And it wasn't because you were afraid I would find the eyeballs rolling around in that miniature mausoleum. I think it was because I was getting too close even before I came here. I think it was because you were the one who killed George Fane." The skeleton shook its head, giving no answers. "But," Nancy continued, "I don't intend to let the matter rest, because George Fane was my best friend." "Nancy," put in Bess Marvin, "I thought I was your best friend." "Really not the time, Bess," Nancy snapped, returning her attention to the skeleton. "Has this sleuth been pitting you and your cousin against each other in her affections for a long time?" the skeleton asked, the dry breath of death rattling through its lungless mouth. "Now that you mention it," Bess said. And this continues another chapter of Nancy Drew and the Legend of the Crystal Skull by Victor Appleton. Perhaps we'll continue that right now. Yes, I'm playing the video game adaptation of that book. Wonder if it's different. Welcome to another Purblind Gamer stream. Starting a bit late, but what else is new? And I hope everybody's been having a good weekend. Getting work done that you didn't do during the week. Or just taking time off if you finished all your work during the week. But realistically speaking, who does that? Someone, probably. Well, yes, and thank you to everybody who came out to my last couple of streams. We played They Hunger, the Half-Life horror mod, on Wednesday. And yesterday, Short Horror Saturday. Oh, right, I didn't do anything for Short Horror Saturday. Because some deranged cute kitten took over my stream and streamed a horror game. Yeah, that was a good time. Tonight we'll continue Nancy Drew, Legend of the Crystal Skull, which we got a bit of a start on last time. It's some of these puzzles are difficult. I think that happens a lot in adventure games, some of the puzzles being difficult. But I hope we'll make a bit more progress tonight, and to unravel a bit more of the story. Save that shop clerk who we left in a sneezing fit for at least half an hour while we tried to decode a message. I guess we'll have to try and decode it again because we failed last time. Not a lot of announcements. Not much going on in my life, just the ordinary dull stuff. Follow me on Twitter and MySpace. I always say that. At the beginning and sometimes the end of the stream. Don't want to forget. This is the best places to find, to hear stream announcements and things like that. And yeah, I guess I should give you guys the brief update, or not update, but summary of the game so far. Nancy and Bess are vacationing in New Orleans, and Nancy is paying a call on Henry Boulay, who's a friend of Ned's. The door is unlocked, so she wanders into his house, and a skeleton in a red tie knocks her out. Henry's uncle Bruno, who's his only relation, recently died, and he also has Bruno's former housekeeper who hangs around the house, and gave Nancy some kind of brew to help her recover after the skeleton knocked her out. And Nancy snoops around a bit and finds some eyeballs, and then the action switches over to Bess Marvin, who has been trying to find a box of various items that Bruno left with this. They belong to Bruno. They're now in this voodoo store called Zeke's. She caused the clerk to go into a fit of sneezing so she could snoop, and now she's trying to decode a message she found. And this is where we resume the action. Why is it not showing up? That's strange. Yeah, I did that. That happened before. Every time you restart the game, you have to reselect the game under the source. Ah, there. That looks much better.
Here's my center of operations, my desk. Go ahead and poke around. If you want to know the particulars of how I do what I do, take a look at the book titled How to Be a Detective. It's real helpful, especially if you're new to the mystery-solving business. And be sure to check out my scrap.
Yes, we've been through all that, Nancy. The skeleton outfit. I believe is a young Bruno and his dog. And a dressed up lizard. So what we have to do, and I think I messed up this up the last time I was trying to decode this, is to use these numbers and count out the letters in this letter and use them to spell a code to get into the box. And it would probably be quicker if I wrote down these numbers rather than having to switch back and forth to them. Yeah, probably. 1, 3, 32, 8, 3, 6. Eight, 14, 4. 1, 12, X. Yeah, because there ain't 8 acts in Hamlet. Thank God for that. 5 acts is already his longest, or one of his longest tragedies. See. 1, 3, 32. L. E. 32, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. B. And 8 and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E. 1, 2, 3, N. Six. Wait. Hard to focus on this and remember your place when you're switching back to the other thing. One, two, three. 4, 5, 6, U. 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8. N. 14 and 4. Well, let's do one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 is D. And 4. And it was that D, right? Right. Yeah. One, 3, 32, 8, 3, 6, 8, 14, and 4. 1, is down here, right? So R. One and 12. E. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. T. Lebanundrat. That's what I get. And we'll hope that the X just means there's nothing there as opposed to a 10. That's the D, right? Probably made a mistake somewhere. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Try adding another 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Lebanundrate. Now, I think I must have made a mistake. Because the game, I would say the game told us in no uncertain terms, and that's what we're supposed to do. We had to call Nancy for a hint, and she was like, oh yeah, just do this. And we're like, oh, okay, we'll do this. Nancy's the boss. So, I'm sorry, let me try it one more time. I'm just making sure I have the numbers correctly. The poor guy's still sneezing, but we can't help him with that until we found out the secret. One, 3, 32. You know that's L. You know that's E. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, B. That's what I got before. Then 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. E. In stayed. And 3. 1, 2, 3. N. In. And 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. U in south. And 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's N. N in France. And 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. D in days. And 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's T. Maybe this is where I messed up. And 1. Which is A. And 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. M. Lebanontown? See if we can enter that. No. I must have messed up again. There's no A. can't use the cell phone. The game's like, you've had enough hints. Let me see if... Useful. This is the stuff we've already went through. As soon as I look through that box in the back room, my snooping days are over. Right, sure, Bess. You keep telling yourself that. I'll be able to count on the letter about Amanda to open that locked box I found amidst Bruno Boulay's things. But yeah, it's definitely saying we need to use the numbers to count. Okay, I'll go through this one more time, and frankly, if I can't get it right, I'm just gonna look it up. Because... yeah. If I were playing this by myself, maybe I would do it 10 times until I finally got it right. But... when I'm on stream, I try to keep things moving a little bit. Okay. 1, 3, L, E. I think we can all agree on that. 32. 3, 4. Wait. 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. Be in both. And 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Ian stayed. Yep. Ian stayed, then 3. 1, 2, 3. N in. And 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. U in south, and 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. N in France. Okay, N in France, then 14. Right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. D in days. And 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. T in 2. O. I think I misread the O as an A or something. And then 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, D. Lebanon drawed? You get a different one each time. Nothing. Yeah, the X. If I can remember where I was. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. R? Where's the try? The music's back. Things are getting serious. Now? Thank goodness they don't have a heading or a citation we have to worry about whether or not to count. Yeah. I'll just look it up and see what it is in the walkthrough. I'm curious where I was going wrong. Damn, I was close. Lebanon's Todd. And that was probably a case of me misreading it. Glad I looked it up, though. Finally. Dear Boulay, this completes our transaction.
Whoa, this is weird. I better call Nancy and read this to her word for word.
The Whisperer... Oh.
Wow, Bess, that is weird.
No, I'll tell you what's weird. The box the letter is in is padded, and it has this round indentation in it that's the exact size of a human skull. It's like it used to contain a skull, but now it doesn't.
Good job, Bess. I'm gonna poke around here and see if I can find out anything about a skull called the Whisperer. You better go take care of Lamont.
Would you believe it? The guy is still sneezing. He must keep nose spray around because something's wrong with his sinuses. Oh, he's gonna hate me.
Yeah, you took long enough, Bess. And how exactly does Bess know the exact size of a human skull? Maybe she's going to med school. Or maybe she's a serial killer. I wouldn't know. I wish she'd given us time to finish reading the letter. But... maybe... I wonder if it's in our journal. According to the letter that was inside a box at the curio shop, some time back, Bruno Boulay bought a skull called the Whisperer, which appears to be missing. Could that be what the skeleton guy was looking for when I walked in and surprised him earlier today? Possible. Remember where in here we've been. Yeah, we've looked at that model pretty thoroughly. Hey, missing painting. Nancy has nothing to say about that. It's like a bird. Oh, is that a footprint like somebody stepped on it? Oh, it must be important if it's in our inventory now. Alright, this puzzle. With an eyeball at the end. Or possibly an olive, we don't know. Awfully round for an olive. Okay, now we can get past these two lasers. as the round ones go until they hit something, and the square ones go for one square. Wait. Nah. Need to restart. What is that thing? It almost looks like a toy car, but it moves sideways for if it would be being a car, so. Looks high enough. Should be able to. Move this here, yeah. Yeah, I think this was how I did it last time. Yeah, that's the easy part. Okay, because we gotta get... If we hit the marble up here, it'll end up in a corner and it's useless. Corner. Wait. The corner, useless. Wait, can we get the... If we push the square up to catch it here, we can only knock it up or down. And we can't have the square over here because of the laser. Wait, could we knock it into the laser? Yeah. Hey, this could work. Ah. Okay. Now, we'll plan out the rest of it so we don't have to restart. Square. Here. I think that'll work. Assuming I don't find a way to mess it up on the way. I probably could if I tried hard enough. No, wait, no. Right. I think it's still going to work. Hey. Yeah, we won a prize. And it is indeed an eyeball. Oh, I should probably save. Let me see if I can see this cursor difference. Hey, Aiden. How are you doing tonight? I'm doing pretty well, thanks. Making slow progress on Nancy Drew and the Crystal Skull. And you guys should check out Yaden RMP, who's a retro streamer and pro wrestler. And I enjoy his streams. I was watching him play some Punch-Out and Double Dragon today. Yeah, how's your night going? Oh yeah, my pleasure. I think we've found everything there is to find in this room. And there is one other puzzle in the miniature cemetery, but I don't think we know how to solve it yet. This list for an actual cemetery. Oh man, I lurking towards the end of your stream, but yeah, that looked pretty tough. I mean, I know Punch-Out is one of the really hard games. I remember reading in one NES book of secrets and strategies, it said something like, beating Mike Tyson is the most difficult thing you'll ever do, and once you've done it, you'll never want to do it again. But you did make it pretty far in Punch-Out. Oh right, we were in here last stream. I think saw all that there was to see. Yeah. Hey, you did. Hey, that's really awesome. Good for you. So was Mike Tyson the final boss at the end of that Punch-Out, or were you playing a version without him? I was just thinking back to the seventh guest. Isn't it nice that we don't have to watch the full motion video, like slowly move us to the next location every time we advance? It was impressive, but this is faster. Oh, Mr. Dream, that's the new name. I wonder if at some point we'll get a version of Punch-Out where Soda Popinski isn't censored. I see. There's like basically just the same kind of fighter, but without the Mike Tyson name. Oh, gotcha. That's funny. Just think like when they license those things, it's just for a set term as opposed to in perpetuity. And I think like for some other games, like maybe Revenge of Shinobi, at various points they've had to change like some of the enemies where the license expired in that. But I guess, when they signed these licensing agreements, they weren't thinking like, maybe in 20 years, all the games will be on the internet. No cartridges. Right, Ivan Dronkinski. So I remember, I don't know if that was in the arcade version or just the Japanese version, but I know in like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out for the NES, they were like, we can't reference alcohol. This is a wholesome Christian console. Think of the children. I'll go back and talk to old Henry. Don't think we have for a bit. Well, true. Christians do drink wine on Sunday as well. Or blood, but yes, but vodka, there's nothing, nothing appropriate about vodka. I mean, you can give the kids wine. Heck, wine's good for heartburn. Wine has antioxidants. What does vodka have? The destruction of the moral fiber of society, that's all it has. Also, potatoes, I think. But yeah, I always think it's funny the things they censor. It is. Oh, yeah, it is potatoes. I think wasn't Casino Royale the book they were talking about if you use vodka made with potatoes as opposed to vodka made with something else. Well, that might be a lizard like the picture we saw in the lockbox. Yeah, we still don't know what to do with all this. tried clicking on all the books? I feel like I did last stream. Also, sorry, I don't think I said hi, Assault86. How's your night going? Oh, yeah. I know, it's more... I just tend to joke that it's like... yeah, Christian influence. I think it's because I have a friend who's always joking that, you know, when something inappropriate comes up in her Twitch stream, she's like, "In my Christian Minecraft server?" Yeah, just in general, I think it's a weird thing to censor, but it was the 80s. Different time. Yeah, there's something like, you know, the console ports of Mortal Kombat. I can get why they censored those. Yeah. You don't want kids to go to school and rip each other's spines out, or, you know, breathe fire on each other and kill each other. That would be terrible. Also, I wonder if there's a mod or something for these games that lets you change the cursor into a different one when you can interact with something. Because I know in this game it's like it changes color, but it's pretty faint for me to be able to see. Miniature Modelers of America. Oh, Bruno Boulay. Low rolling.
Your great-uncle really had a thing for glass eyes, didn't he?
Yep. Wore a glass eye for as long as I can remember. Had a whole collection of them. Liked to wear a different color every day.
Oh, interesting. They're different colors. Why? Would Bruno have hidden them in different places around the house when he died? Or would somebody else have done it? I'm assuming these are all miniature modelers. Oh yeah, it looks like the magnifying glass gets a bit lighter when you can interact with something, but it's still pretty faint.
Yes?
Is your great-uncle's estate worth very much?
I have no idea. Nor will I until I get all his affairs settled. He was a dentist for most of his life, so he must have had some money squirreled away. As you can tell, he was darn good at squirreling away junk.
Yeah. Oh, there's the teeth on the bookshelf, like teeth bookends or whatever they are.
Have you had any of his things appraised?
Somebody from a curio shop came in and took a quick look around, but it wasn't anything formal.
Huh. Curio shop.
Why is there an empty frame in the gallery in the other room?
Apparently someone stole the canvas. Renee says it disappeared sometime after Bruno died.
Interesting thing to steal.
Was it valuable?
In a way, it was of my parents. I think it was painted in the garden out back. Renee doesn't like me. Wouldn't surprise me if she took it out of spite.
I found this scrap of paper in the fireplace.
Hey,
Do
that
you
was
know
their
anything
seed from
about it?
Zeke's.
No. You always go digging around in people's fireplaces?
Just looking for something that might tell
I
me
do.
who that skeleton man was.
Ah,
Are you sure you don't know anything about it?
Yes. Anything else?
Why is there a model of a cemetery in the other room?
Because great Uncle Bruno used to oversee the cemetery next door. Made that scale model so he could keep track of where everything, or should I say everyone, was. Crafted all those miniature crypts himself. And people think I'm weird.
Some of which moved and did things. It was pretty cool. And I think the skeleton in the red tie was looking at the cemetery when we surprised him and he knocked us out.
Do you know what this is? I found it in the other room.
Looks to me like some kind of tracing.
I was thinking that maybe my skeleton man left it behind.
Well, I sure don't know anything about it. Anything else?
Not very chatty. Wonder if it's in, like, rubbing from a gravestone.
I'll check back with you later.
Whatever.
Oh. It's pretty fluid animation. Just occurred to me. Doesn't seem to be anything important on this bookshelf. If we want to go outside just yet, it is raining. Oh,
What was that?
That was Uncle Bruno's pet iguana, Iggy. He's always in here stealing paper. He must be using it to build a nest or something. Look, I had all those books arranged so they fit perfectly in that box. Put them back in, okay? I don't have time.
I just want to look through this one book.
Go right ahead. After you put all those other books back.
they weren't in a box. They were on the shelf. What? This Henry guy is starting to get on my nerves. A spatial puzzle or something. Can we rotate them? Look at the way these things fit together. There's a gap in that one. Yeah, I appreciate them at least keeping some of the books together. Hey, Dangerous Dave. Welcome in. How are you doing today? Oh, awesome. I'm doing pretty well, thanks. Had a reasonably productive day and enjoying getting back into Nancy Drew. I'm glad you're doing well. Yeah, those don't fit together perfectly. Now, these three seem to be the same height. Oh yeah, that fits so perfectly. That's got to be the right thing. Let me move this. Can anything else horizontal go with that long one? Jeez, all I did was look at the iguana and he bolted. I don't get why this is my fault. This one could go. That might go. Yeah, no matter what, we'd I don't know how tight the fit's gonna be. Oh, shoot, we got another big vertical one, right. The 4 horizontal ones. I don't know, maybe. The thick horizontal one isn't supposed to go right next to the long, thin horizontal one. But then you end up with some wasted space, unless those don't. I don't know what that other book there anyway. Ah, darn it. I did not mean to do that. Oh well. I expected to reset, but that's okay. Will these go? Okay, let's see if the tall ones can fit between here. Yeah. Looks promising. Maybe. There's the other big one. Or another big one. That one? Yeah, that is part of the spine, so that fits pretty exactly. Wait, is it possible this is it? That could have taken a lot longer than it did. Crystal skulls. Fact or fable? What does that say? Dracula? Arts of the... Dramatic arts of the 19th century. Oh, yeah. By Hotchkiss. Crystal skulls, fact or fable. by Beatrice Hotchkiss, and a phone number. An overview. One of the most ancient and widespread legends known to humankind can be summed up thusly. Scattered over the earth are 13 human skulls carved out of pure crystal. At some point in the future, fate will bring the 13 skulls together, and they will speak, imparting wisdom that will save the human race from annihilation and usher in a golden era of peace and enlightenment. There are several versions of the legend. In one, the skulls are created by Mayans, Incans, or Aztecs. Shouldn't it be Incas? And collectively form a repository of information detailing how and why humans came to be. Another legend credits their creation to extraterrestrials who seeded the earth with the human race and left the skulls behind to explain their actions at some point in the future. Yet another contends that the skulls are ancient in origin, but more important, that each skull is somehow magical in and of itself. The distinctive gifts they offer their owners reputedly include precognition, clairvoyance, telekinesis, and, of course, immortality. Some variations combine all of the above. What is both indisputable and intriguing about the general legend and its smaller, colorful variations is that several mysterious crystal skulls have indeed been discovered in the past millennium, turning up in all corners of the earth. What follows is an examination of everything that is currently known about these skulls, in hopes of separating the facts of their existence from the fantasies of human imagination. The Whisperer. The first documented reference to the crystal skull, known as the Whisperer, came in 1532, shortly after Hermano de Solo helped Francisco Pizarro ambush and capture the Incan emperor Atahualpa at the Battle of Cajamarca. De Soto's aide-de-camp, while updating the De Soto expedition records, noted that during Atahualpa's subsequent imprisonment, De Soto befriended the Incan ruler. In time, Atahualpa told De Soto a secret. He possessed an exquisitely detailed, life-sized human skull that the ancient ones had carved out of pure, clear crystal. And hey, Techie Rob, welcome in. How are you doing tonight? It's good to see you. He happened upon it at the hut of a deceased high priest, whose astonishingly advanced age had caused his fellow priests, out of fear and jealousy, to slip him a fatal dose of poison. Atahualpa took a fancy to the skull and kept it, and soon realized that the skull, which he contended would sometimes whisper to him in an unearthly voice using unfamiliar words, was giving him immunity to all human ailments. As long as he possessed the skull, Atahualpa told De Soto, he would live forever. Oh, that's great to hear, Techie Rob. Just starting work. Well, I hope today's a pleasant day at work. And no big challenges or undue excitement. But like the priest before him, and everybody who possessed this particular skull after him, Atahualpa soon discovered that while the skull could perhaps protect him from the ravages of time and nature, it was no match for the treachery of his fellow men. To De Soto's great surprise and dismay, Pizarro had Atahualpa executed. Although there is no other mention of the skull in De Soto's records, it is highly doubtful that the Spaniard would have left such a treasure behind when he returned to Europe in 1536. Excuse me. Indeed, the next documented reference to the crystal skull, which Atahualpa seems to have inadvertently bequeathed to De Soto, came in a letter written by a nobleman in the court of Philip II, the member of the Austrian Habsburg family, who took over the Spanish Empire in 1556. While a guest at the Habsburg Palace in Vienna, the nobleman mentioned encountering a crystalline head of death, which a manservant swore made utterances strange and low, too terrible for the ear to bear. Apparently, the skull then made its way to France, most likely via Anne of Austria, who married King Louis XIII of France in 1615, because a new reference to a head of death carved from remarkably clear crystal can be found in the manifest of a ship belonging to René Robert Cavalier, Sleur de la Salle, a French explorer who, in 1684, was preparing for a journey that would take the skull, ironically, back to the New World from which it had come. And my goodness, some people have long names. The fact that La Salle took the skull with him on his expedition to colonize the Mississippi River Valley suggests that he may have been aware of its reputation for conferring immortality upon the owner. But once again, his real enemy proved to be not age or disease, but his fellow man. A group of his men, stranded in what is now Texas after the expedition landed in the wrong place and antagonized the local Native Americans, eventually mutinied and killed La Salle so they could abandon their mission and head for the relative safety of the French outposts of Canada. Remember, I grew up in Texas. I think it was the Navasota River that he sailed down at one point. I think I remember my father telling me that when we crossed it, but I could be wrong. The Whisperer, however, appears to have been left behind and didn't reappear until almost 200 years later. The photo on the right, found in the basement of a library in Jonesboro, Arkansas, suggests that by 1881, Atahualpa's crystal skull had found itself in the hands of a traveling huckster. Curtis Caldwell's Curios and Curiosities, The Whispering Crystal Skull. Something. Wonder of the ancient Incan world. Inquire inside. In the hands of a traveling huckster, who apparently used it to lure potential patrons to his wagon so he could sell them various balms and elixirs. If he is the same Curtis Caldwell who, according to census records, settled in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, he lived and worked to the ripe old age of 93. Was that noise in the game? To the ripe old age of 93, dying only when a dissatisfied customer set fire to his house in a fit of anger. If the Whisperer was in Caldwell's house, it no doubt survived the fire, but exactly what happened to it next has proved impossible to discern. Excuse me. And its current whereabouts is a mystery. But what is known about the skull's previous owner would prove very useful in solving that mystery. For all the people who have possessed it have had two things in common. They live for an unusually long time, and they always, without exception, met with death at the hands of another. Oh hey, Ruby J. Welcome in. How's your night going? It's going pretty well, thanks. We got past the decoded message and get through a couple more puzzles. Got startled by an iguana on a bookshelf. In other words, the trail that leads to the discovery of this particular crystal skull will likely be one that begins with murder. And you guys should check out Ruby J, who's a variety streamer who plays a lot of adventure games and other things. And it was her birthday recently. And she's a veteran of the Nancy Drew series. And how's your night going? Oh, Mario Kart 8. Yes, I hope you enjoyed the rest of your birthday. Assuming we're done with that bookshelf. And in that letter that had faded away before we could fully read, clearly called the skull the Whisperer. Oh, Death on the Nile. Awesome. Is that like a new film adaptation they're doing? Where's Henry? Oh, wait, there he is.
Yes?
How did Bruno die, if you don't mind my asking?
Just dropped dead in the front hallway. I mean, the guy was 95 years old. Here, check it out.
Advanced
Myocardial
age.
infarction. That's doctor speak for heart attack.
Attending physician Dr. Gilbert Buford, 504-555-9970. Was that Bruno's doctor?
And his best friend, or so I'm told. I've never met him.
Interesting keychain.
That's one of Uncle Bruno's glass eyes. It's the one he was wearing when he died.
How nice.
Anything else?
And you turn it into a keychain? But how was that, the new version of Death on the Nile? I don't think I've read that or seen any of the film adaptations, but I know. I've heard it's supposed to be a good one.
I'll let you get back to
There.
work.
Sounds good.
So you took the glass eye out of your dead uncle and made it into a keychain? And that's nice, Henry. We're going to go over here now for a little bit. Oh, that's a shame you guessed the killer that early on. But still, that's good if it was a fun movie. I do enjoy mysteries. Oh, that's great. And I do like old-fashioned mysteries. I think one of my favorite movies in the last few years was Knives Out. So I should check our journal, make sure it wrote down the phone number of the author. It looked like a phone number. Pet iguana named Iggy. And he steals paper. Yeah, I really love Knives Out. It had so many great actors in it. Yeah, I don't think I've seen the other recent mystery movies. I know they still make some, especially in England. terribly theatrical of them. I'll have to find Renee, the housekeeper. Just look around the garden. None of these, that game, I think that's the thing with the lasers, but none of these are checked off. That I can tell. Okay, I guess we can go to the cemetery.
Check.
Peculiar. Oh. Oh, okay, now it's checked off.
Can't check that off yet.
This game gives us a to-do list and lets us check it off ourselves.
Check.
Tracing.
Check. Check.
That is the room we explored, yeah.
Did that.
Well, when you think about it, I guess we have accomplished a fair amount.
All done.
Then we might have to ask Renee a little more about that.
Did that. Check.
Okay, I guess there's nothing else there.
Did that.
I'm gonna look at those books again and see if any of the levers do trigger something by themselves. Wait, are they in this room or the next room? There's ones. Teeth. It looks like teeth. It looks like teeth on the spines. We knew he was a dentist. How many are there? I wonder if they're supposed to correspond to the teeth in the human mouth. Pretty stylish tooth bookends, though. Even more so when you begin to wonder whether those are real human teeth. Very large human teeth. Oh, okay. pretty darn creepy garden. Oh. And there's Renee.
Nancy, welcome to my little lantern-lit corner of the world.
It's a little wet out here.
I don't mind. No one should mind the rain. Without it, the end of the world would come much too soon. Did you and Henry have a nice chat?
Is she wearing a sun hat in a rainstorm at night? We talked.
We talked.
Henry's a very morose, very negative young man. Very cunning, too. In fact, I'm fairly certain that he's been selling off Dr. Boulay's belongings on the sly.
Ah. That could be how the skull made it to Zeke's.
Won't all of Dr. Boulay's belongings go to Henry anyway?
Absolutely not. According to Dr. Boulay's will, Henry is to get 30% of the estate. Dr. Boulay's physician, Gilbert Buford, gets 30%. Our Lady of Route 57 School of Dentistry and Cosmetology gets 30%. And I am to receive 10%.
What was in that concoction you wanted me to drink after I got knocked out?
Never you mind. It was just a little remedy I brewed up on the spot to help you feel better.
Trademarked secret, I'm sure.
Have you ever seen this before? I found it by that scale model of the cemetery that's inside the house.
It's a mystery to me. I suggest you ask Henry. He leaves things lying around all the time. I guess it figures I won't notice amid all the other clutter. But I do. I notice everything. How else may I be of service to you?
Did you notice a skeleton who knocked me out by any chance? I suppose that would be too much to ask for.
If you don't like Henry that much, how come you're still here?
I'm here because Dr. Boulay paid me in advance, and I always fulfill my obligations.
Did Dr. Boulay ever say anything to you about a crystal skull? He may have referred to it as the Whisperer.
No, he never so much as mentioned a crystal skull, whispering or otherwise.
Well, he might not want to broadcast that he had it.
What can you tell me about the painting that's missing from the frame in the gallery?
Very little, I'm afraid. I didn't notice the picture was gone until after the reception following Dr. Boulay's funeral. I cannot even tell you what it was a picture of.
If you don't mind my asking, what's in that little pouch you wear around your neck?
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Secret things. Things that give me special talents when special times demand them. People usually laugh when I say this, but this pouch is my connection to the energy that powers the universe.
Oh.
Well, at least you didn't laugh.
Yeah, Nancy's not sure how to respond to that.
Were you in the house when Dr. Boulay passed away?
I was indeed. I was in the library cleaning when all of a sudden I heard a big thump. I hurried out to investigate, and sure enough, there was Dr. Boulay lying by the front door. And as I rushed over to him, the door opened and in walked Gilbert Buford. He took one look at Dr. Boulay and hollered at me to call 911. So I ran back into the library and did just that. When I came back out, Gilbert was leaning over Dr. Boulay, listening for breathing, I suppose. And then he started pushing up and down on his chest. But it was too late. Even I could tell that Dr. Boulay was gone.
What was he doing by the front door?
I assume he saw Gilbert coming and was going to open the door for him. Not that there was any need. As you yourself discovered, People around here seldom lock their front doors during the day. But you know, in the back of my mind, I have always wondered about Gilbert Buford showing up at the door at that exact moment.
Oh yeah, it is pretty suspicious.
I understand that Dr. Boulay had some interesting pets, like an iguana.
That man never met a creature he didn't like. He'd train them to do all kinds of silly tricks, then let them run free, inside the house as well as out.
Do you know how he went about training them?
I surely do not. Don't get me wrong. I liked Dr. Boulay, I truly did. But I swear, sometimes his activities made as much sense to me as bathing in a bayou full of gators.
I'll leave you to your potting.
One more thing. I, too, have seen the skeleton man. After Dr. Boulay passed, that night, I saw him in the hallway. He was there, then he was gone. So you best be careful, Nancy Drew, because if it was Mr. Death, and I truly think it was, he's come back.
Or could there be a secret passage in the hallway? It would be fun to read the books. I know some of these games, I think this one included, are based on actual books. It'd be fun to read the books and see what's similar and what's different. And after playing that Hardy Boys game, I imagine some of them are very loose adaptations. Anything to interact with here? Doesn't appear so. Ah.
Ouch! Ow! Ouch! Ow!
Kill the bees, kill the bees. Or hornets, whatever they are. Maybe there's freakishly large mosquitoes. Oh, no, they're hornets.
Ow!
I didn't save. I forgot you could die in these games.
That should keep you guys quiet for a while.
Oof. Hornets. Kill it with fire. I don't know. Wasps. Whatever. Well, gas, but you get the idea.
I don't want to bug those wasps again unless I absolutely have to.
Oh, I see. It's one of those insect shooting devices. Whatever they're called. I guess that's nice. We didn't kill them, we just put them to sleep. And once they're all asleep, we can kill them with fire. What is that? Some kind of fruit we got. Does it tell us somewhere? Oh, I don't know, but it's some kind of fruit. Apricot, maybe. What is that? It was something we got last stream. I forgot what. Oh, right, that mysterious piece of paper we found in the Crystal Skull book. We'll have to keep an eye out for these letters. Oh, that's just the case file, right? Okay. Oh, right. It's like a... something down there. Might be a spider. I wonder, we'll have to play something on these. Like the itsy bitsy spider, perhaps? Well, we'll remember that's there. Ooh, fireflies. We don't want the wall to fall down on us, but... is there anything here? Oops. Doesn't appear to be more. Here they are. Okay. I just want to see if we could look around more while on the path. Is that me? I think that's me. Yeah. I'm just trying to finish exploring this area before I wander through the gate and that crossroads. Oh. Oh. Bruno Boulay. 1912 to 2007. I don't know exactly what that is. Looks kind of like a dragon or a dinosaur. Okay. Oh, we do have to look around the gardens pretty thoroughly. Is this going to be a maze? Crowing crypts. Oh, right. Maybe. That might have been one of the things in the miniature cemetery, so maybe this is the cemetery we're wandering around. Nancy always hides in the shadow. You thought you could deal with Nancy Drew, did you, skeleton? Okay, maybe the thing to do is to look at the model of the cemetery and then figure out where I need to go. I feel like we could go to the place in the cemetery where there was a puzzle in the miniature cemetery. There might be a clue. How good is that? The central fountain? Yeah. Out of the rain. Alright, we can also call the doctor. We might as well do that now. Oh good, we did write down Professor Hodgkins's name. We haven't called Ned yet. Let's call him and be like, Ned, you have weird acquaintances.
Hello, Nancy?
Hey, Ned.
It's about time you called. Did you make it to New Orleans okay?
Yep.
Have you seen Henry?
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure I like the way you said that. Is he okay?
He's fine. Well, he's the executor of his great-uncle Bruno's estate, which he's not real happy about. But he and his great-uncle weren't that close, so he's not grief-stricken or anything.
Well then, are you okay?
And there might
Other
be
than
some
being
money
attacked
from
on
it.
my way into Henry's house by a skeleton wearing a red ascot and getting knocked out by the smoke bomb he threw at me, I'm fine too.
What?
Let's just say that I stumbled onto a mystery, and I'm not leaving till I solve it.
Why am I not surprised? Is Bess with you?
No, but she has been helping me.
So tell me about this skeleton man.
Well, it was someone in a costume, obviously. He or she was leaning over something in the great room when I walked in and surprised them.
So they threw a smoke bomb at you and ran?
Yeah, I must have interrupted whatever they were doing.
What were they leaning over?
A scale model of the cemetery next door. Henry says his great-uncle Bruno made it so he could keep track of who was buried there. Apparently, Bruno used to oversee the cemetery. And right near the scale model, I found a tracing of some kind of symbol. I'm thinking maybe Skeleton Man dropped it.
Why would Skeleton Man be interested in the scale model of a cemetery?
Good question. Maybe I'll take a real good look around in there and see if I can find out.
Good idea.
Oh, we can talk to him.
I'm still trying to figure out how you got to be friends with Henry.
Well, we're not best friends or anything. Heck, we're not really even friends. I just feel sorry for the guy. I mean, he never hangs out with anyone between classes, and when I'd heard there'd been a death in the family, I just wanted to make sure he was okay all by himself down there.
Don't worry, he's fine. A little strange, maybe, but fine.
That's good to hear.
You know, you're a pretty nice guy.
Yeah, I know.
Right after Henry's great-uncle Bruno died, someone stole one of the paintings from his gallery. Just took the canvas and left the frame.
Anything else missing from the house?
I don't think so. At least no one has said anything. Of course, the only people here are Henry and Bruno's housekeeper, Renee. And this house is so full of stuff. Even if something else was missing, it would be ages until anyone noticed.
You think the missing painting ties in with your skeleton man somehow?
Fair chance. Yeah. Oh, don't get a choice. There's only one answer.
Nah, but it is a possibility, I guess.
Never hurts to keep an open mind.
Bruno Boulay's housekeeper, Renee, is still here, despite the fact that she and Henry don't really get along that well.
Why do you think she's staying on?
She says it's because Bruno paid her in advance.
But you don't believe her.
10% of Bruno's estate is supposed to go to her. Only she thinks, and with kind of good reason, that Henry's been selling off Bruno's assets on the sly. So it wouldn't surprise me if she's staying on so she can try to bust him.
What's this kind of good reason stuff?
I know for a fact that Henry sold a box of Bruno's things to a local curio shop.
So this Renee person isn't just being paranoid.
What this Renee person is freaky.
In what way?
She wanted me to drink some strange-looking concoction after I passed out from the smoke bomb, but she refused to tell me what was in it. And she wears this weird little pouch around her neck. Says what's inside it connects her to the energy that powers the universe.
She's probably harmless, but stay on her good side, just in case.
Yeah, stay on everybody's good side when there may have been a murder around. That happened recently.
Are you familiar with the legend of the so-called crystal skulls?
Is that where aliens supposedly scattered a bunch of perfectly formed crystal skulls all around the world like thousands of years ago? And all the skulls have different magical powers?
Something like that, yeah. Apparently Henry's uncle was the proud owner of the Whisperer, the skull that was supposed to make whoever owned it live forever.
Only now he's dead and another superstition bites the dust.
Maybe, maybe not. See, this book I found in Bruno's library said no one who has owned the Whisperer has ever died of natural causes.
So how did they die?
They were all murdered.
Come on, you don't believe that crystal skull stuff is true, do you?
Except Bruno. Unless...
Absolutely not. But right now, what I think doesn't matter. The people who knew Bruno had the skull, if one of them believed in the Whisperer's power, they may have figured the only way they'd ever be rid of Bruno was to cause his death.
But didn't he die of a stroke or something?
Heart attack.
Well, there you go. Natural causes.
Heart attacks can be induced.
You've been watching too many of those forensic detective shows.
That may be, but what's really interesting is the skull is missing.
That is interesting.
And I'll bet you anything that's what my bony friend in the red ascot was looking for.
Does Henry know where the skull is?
I haven't gotten around to asking him about it yet. But if that skull is still around here, I intend to find it.
I kind of figured that.
It is missing. I wish we'd gotten a chance to read that note fully that was in the box.
Think you could give me a hint?
You bet.
Oh, it. Huh.
I changed my mind. Talk to you soon.
Bye, Nancy.
Yeah. I think I have a good idea of how to go about this. And I mean, to start, I'll go there and look. Wait, what else was I doing? Right. Just gonna look at the model. Yeah, wait. It was through here. Oh, yeah. Great names, aren't they? Okay, there's the gate. There's that central... dynamo? I mean, at first I thought it was a fountain, but I don't know. That's probably what it really is. It kind of looks like a big fountain. Yeah, you have to... Interesting that way left seems to be a dead end. Hey, Hairball, welcome in. How are you doing tonight? You guys should check out Hairball, who's a Fun retro VTuber. Makes a lot of excellent jokes. Hilarity always ensues in his streams. Yeah. If I'm going to be able to compete with jokes you make in Dragon Gem streams, well, I'm going to have to bone up on my jokes. You're welcome. How's your night going here, Vol? Yeah, straight on from the fountain we get to the tree. Is this the one? Yeah. What's that one called? Yeah, it doesn't have a name. Sorrow Park. Oops. Slumber Gardens. Yeah, I got north twice and then west. Seems like a good place to start. No, wrong door. I'm in the wrong room. Yeah, expect to find a murder. I can't even keep track of which room I'm in. Turn everything on an angle, don't we? West of the tree. Writhing Roots Memorial. I hear music, but I don't see anything. I don't know if that music's supposed to be in the game or not. There I am. Yeah, whilst I'm here, might as well look around a little. And there's Sorrow Park. And there's nothing here, much to our sorrow. Wow. Whoever built this seminary must have had lots of money. What's that? Oh, just a rock. Or something. And just you can see the picture of the bird, or the engraving of a bird. Charlie Wicker. Yeah, I can't read that. I think it's Welsh or something. Sleeping Meadow. I thought this was the place. Yeah, maybe I'm off by one. I did at first think it was 2 north and then west, east, west. What's the difference?
To figure out if there's anything camouflaged in that design, I'm gonna need some paper.
Oh. See, this must be what the bird is from. One of these. And none of these pieces of paper are suitable. Okay, so this is the place. Go back and get some paper. Perhaps Henry will lend us some. Is my bloody camera frozen? Ah. For a moment. Ah, there. I got a loose connection to some degree because I keep. And the port is right over where my mouse is, so sometimes I bump it. Oh yeah, the powered USB hub working. No matter. If we are going to have to play the itsy bitsy spider to drive the spider out of the drain. I mean, he is down a water spout and it isn't a rainstorm. The symbolism is not lost on me. We see some paper. I guess we could just ask Henry.
Yes?
Do you know where I could find some plain paper?
Thanks to that iguana, paper's like non-existent in here.
Right.
Try asking Renee.
I'll let you get back to
Oops,
work.
no.
Groovy.
Sorry. One more thing.
Back so soon?
How come your great-uncle's crypt is in the garden and not in the cemetery?
Don't ask me. It's kind of weird. Apparently he built the crypt himself, but he never indicated in his will or anywhere else that that's where he wanted to be buried. I stuck his ashes in there anyway and had the thing inscribed. If that's not what he wanted, too bad.
Strange.
I'll let you get back to work.
Whatever.
Just check off our task list.
Check. Can't check that off yet.
No, we haven't finished exploring. Even though it is pretty darn creepy.
Did that.
Yeah, sorta. I'll defer to Nancy Drew. She knows her stuff.
I haven't done that. Did that. All done.
Yeah, what is it with that card? Or something like chalk. What is like chalk? I suppose that any white rook will do. There, I should close that. Hey, what am I doing? Renee's outside.
Hello again.
Have you seen a dressed up iguana?
Do you by any chance have some plain paper that I could use?
I most certainly do. But it's up in my room, and I'm afraid I cannot retrieve it for you until I'm finished here. You get the sudden urge to draw a picture?
Something like that.
I know, I'll help you. That way you'll get done faster.
Gracious, you are the picture of impatience, aren't you? Well, I appreciate the offer. But here, Why don't you just take this instead? It's an extra key to my room. The paper's in a drawer in my nightstand. I have to keep it hidden on account of that paper-thieving iguana. Just go on up and help yourself. But make sure you lock the door when you leave, you hear? You I trust. But Henry, him I do not.
I really appreciate this.
As long as you're going up there, my appetite could use a little placating, so I would be much obliged if you would bring me a candy bar from my nightstand. And take one for yourself while you're at it.
I must say, she trusts us a surprising amount after just having met us. Well, maybe it's because, you know, we both seen the skeleton man. Yeah, this will be it. Oh good, that's the paper.
One for Renee.
Stacks of candy bars. Cocoa Kringle. Can't really tell what that says. What's it? It's very cow. That's a slogan.
And one for me. Yeah.
Oh, we actually eat it. And one for Bess. Oh. Okay, we better stop. Eat ourselves to death. While we're here, what dark secrets is the former housekeeper hiding? Hiccup powder. It looks like she bought it from Zeke's. No. Don't open it again, Nancy. I have to find the skeleton to scare you. It's an interesting hat rack. Does that one kind of look like a clock face with hands? We got about 1010. Stop by the grandfather clock and give that a go. Hey, do any of these match? This one? Yeah, different kinds of symbols. I shouldn't keep messing with this, but... let's see if I can get it to recreate that design in the upper left. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. Which one is which? Oops. Huh. We got one of them. Yeah, maybe I should just try and get all of them. It's obviously important. So that, and a different heart-shaped one. almost got that one. Where's the last one? Huh. Oops. Oh, that's the right one. Oh, I must have got this one wrong. Somehow. Two similar ones. Yep. Yeah. I think that's one of them. Yeah. What's missing? Oh, right, the little, like, horizontal bars, sort of, dots almost, which are, yeah. And huh. Oh, now there's an additional bar at the top. What creates that? This is an intriguing puzzle. Weirdly fun. That must be it. Yay! No, not that one. No, it's not that. Huh. No. Oh, I think that must be the one. It's the other similar. The other similar one? Where was that? That one. I think. Renee's probably wondering where her candy bar is, isn't she? Yeah. Hmm. So what's the other one? No, it's definitely those two. Huh. I don't know, can you guys tell what it is? It looks... I know, they're kind of tricky, Hairball. It's like seeing which the different parts from one of these go in to make these. I'm pretty confident these two are the correct. Yeah, maybe that's the problem. But what else has this bar at the top? I know it's on that one because they curve up way too much on the ends. Oh, okay, that's it. Oops. And that's the one that... Yeah, there. Okay, just one more. Kind of looks like a happy frog. Or an insect. No, that's not right. Yeah, that one. Yeah, this one I'm close to finding. Oops. Renee won't mind. One hoodoo, signs and symbols. Hoodoo? You do. Do what? Remind me of the babe. Spectriloquy. To most people, spells that are cast using words spoken aloud sound like gibberish, repetitive, nonsensical, and annoying. But these are powerful spells indeed, so powerful that there are only two ways to negate them. One is to discern the precise meaning and purpose of the spell, and to vocalize the appropriate counterspell. But this demands intimate knowledge not only of hoodoo words, but of the motivations of the spell's creator, and this is often impossible. The more common method of disenchantment involves writing the symbolic equivalent of the spell on an object placed between the originator of the spell and its recipient, a practice known as spectriloquy. Once a spell is broken down into individual sounds, each sound is translated into a letter from the spectral alphabet and then drawn left to right on a fence, wall, window, etc. And we just got a raid. Hello everybody. Welcome in. Thank you so much, Fanboy Brian. How are you doing? You guys should check out Fanboy Brian, who's a variety streamer who does a lot of retro games and multiplayer games and other fun games, Souls-like games. And Assault 86. Hey. And welcome everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Purblind Gamer. I'm a legally blind retro and variety streamer who specializes in horror and I guess also mystery games. And right now we're playing Nancy Drew, Legend of the Crystal Skull. And yeah, having a good time figuring out the mystery. Oh, you were playing Neo. Oh, you're still enjoying that? Yeah, how'd your stream go, Fanboy Brian? Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome in, everybody. We just found this book in a locked box in the former housekeeper of the dead, possibly murdered man's room. And it's a book of hoodoo spells. Trying to... Oh, yeah. Trying to finish it up. Yeah, that does seem like a hard game, but hopefully you're making good progress. And still enjoying it. The spectral alphabet is comprised of 24 symbols and is based on 4 basic vowel sounds. I wonder. Oh, thank you so much, Salt. I really appreciate you being here and hanging out, and I hope you have a good night. I'll probably wrap up myself in a while, but not for a little bit yet. I think we'll at least make it through another puzzle. Ah, O, U, E. All the hoodoo words can be represented by modifying these 4 basic symbols. Oh, interesting. Wait, some of these are what we saw on the wall. Okay, there's that one I thought was a clock face. I guess it's not. It's Lou of the long arm. I wonder if I should try and figure out what it says on the wall. Oh. Creepy doll. Creepy doll is creepy. Yeah. I'm enjoying some of the puzzles more than others, and the story overall. Have any of you chaps played any of the Nancy Drew games? Okay, so triangle with line beneath, triangle with line to the right, clock face. Ba, za, lu. I believe pa. Let me jot this down. This could be important. Ba, za, lu, pa. I keep meaning to get a notebook, keep next to me and jot down things when I play games. So far I just use either scraps of paper or an email draft. That's definitely Pa.
I'm afraid. Streamer, you must pause.
Oh, wow. Just got another raid. Hey, welcome in. Captain Fuel Card. Great to see you. Thank you so much for the raid. How's it going? You guys should check out Captain Peelcard, who's a fellow legally blind streamer and specializes mostly in retro games, adventures and such. Thanks, Captain. How's it going? I know, 2 raids right in a row. Welcome in, guys. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Purblind Gamer. I'm a legally blind retro and variety streamer who plays a lot of horror games. And right now we're playing a mystery game with light horror overtones. Namely, the game starts when a skeleton appears and knocks you out with smoke. How's that for a dramatic start? What were you playing? Oh, King's Quest VI. Hey, you're working through that King's Quest series.
Streamer, you must pause my stream. Streamer got a raid. Here's a raider leading raiders. Welcome raiders.
Wow.
Other raiders, alligators. Raider, crackle.
That's 3 raids in a row. Thank you so much. Is it Scruffy Pigeon from Hell? Welcome in, Scruffy Pigeon. Thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. You guys check out Scruffy Pigeon from Hell. What were you playing, Scruffy? I know, triple raid. Welcome in, everybody. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Purblind Gamer. I'm a legally blind retro and variety streamer and son of a hookie. Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. Oh, Gabriel Knight 2, nice. And Elvis Cat, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome on in. How'd you enjoy that Gabriel Knight 2, Scruffy Pigeon? I've never played that, but I've seen other people play parts of it, and it looks fun. Twitch viewer. Oh, thank you for the follow, Scruffy Pigeon. Really kind of you, and for the raid. Wow, first game on PC. You played on PC. That's fun to revisit it. I know, sometimes that's what I do, is revisit games I've played. And, yes, I call myself a retro and variety streamer, but I specialize in horror and playing a fair number of horror games. And, let's see, who did I miss earlier? Welcome in Wild Pyro Fire. And, yeah, everybody else. We're just playing Nancy Drew Legend of the Crystal Skull, which is more of a mystery game than a horror game, but with some horror aspects. We're dealing with voodoo spells and such. Oh, you're welcome, Wild Pyro Fire. Great to have you all here. And so did you say you finished Gabriel Knight 2, Scruffy Pigeon? And will you be playing the rest of the series? That's another one of those horror series I probably ought to play through. Well, there are lots of good series of horror games. Oh, better than Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull. Yes, I haven't seen that either, but I've heard plenty of things about it. It's not particularly well loved. No, I think this is a slightly better Crystal Skull story. And I don't think I got to ask you, Captain Peelcart, are you making good progress on King's Quest VI? It seems like a lot of people are playing Sierra Adventures. Which I haven't played that many of. Oops. Oh, yeah, I think point and clicks are fun to play on stream. Sometimes, the pacing can be a little bit slower, so it's easier to pause and pay attention to chat sometimes. Oh yeah, Wild Pyro. I used to read those books too. Some of them are so good. Oh, I see. You've followed Captain Peelcard here. Oh, that's really nice. Oh, it looked like some of the puzzles in the older ones are pretty darn hard. But I hope in this one there's a little less soft locking, like maybe Sierra figured out how not to do that quite so often. So we found this hoodoo spell on the wall, and I'm just going to figure out what it says and writing it down, because it might be important later. We've got square in a bracket, circle over wavy line, and bass clef on a triangle, sort of. And it's in this book over here. Yeah, I went through something of a tutu to get that chest open. So it's D Moo Ka. D Moo Ka. I see. Nobody else playing Gabriel Knight do. But I really appreciate you guys coming in here. I'll try not to get stuck on some puzzle and spend an hour trying to decode a message or set up a Rube Goldberg device. That happens in this game. And, I know you said you like the Nancy Drew books, Wild Pyrofire. Have you played any of the games? This is actually the first game I'm really like having a go at, like trying to play through. Yeah, I've been enjoying this one so far, and they must be doing something right if they've had like about 20 games in the series, and the Hardy Boys only had 1 or 2. I think we've found everything else in the room. I have to trot back down and give the housekeeper a candy bar. Yeah, seems like I've seen it. At least 2 people play Gabriel Knight 2 in the last couple of years. Oh, thanks, Scruffy Pigeon from Hell. I appreciate it, and I'll have to check out your streams, especially if you play horror games. Yeah, I hope you have a good night and get some rest.
Yes, I'm being followed by Twitch viewers.
Hey, thank you so much for the follow, Wild Pyrofire. Yeah, great to have you here. Ooh, oh damn. Yeah, it's late. I think it's probably about 1 a.m. here too. I'll probably turn in myself fairly soon, but not until we get through another puzzle at least. But, yeah, I hope you have a good night as well, Captain Peelcard.
You bring me that cocoa kringle bar like I asked?
Right here.
Bless you. I'm so hungry I could
4
devour these
a.m.
plants I'm potting up, dirt and all. How else may I be of service to you?
East Coast time. Oh yes, Captain. I was visiting my parents back home for like a month over Christmas, but in mid-January I came back here, and so now I'm back in my most of the year home. And thank you so much for the follow. Is it Ducky Darling? Ducky Daring? Welcome in. Good to have you here. This is Renee, the former housekeeper of a man who recently died, who's staying on for the moment and doesn't really care for the great-nephew who's taking care of the old man's estate.
Those weird symbols on the wall in your room, do you know who painted them?
I did. Fact of the matter is, there's a spirit living in that wall.
A spirit?
Got a voice that'd send shivers down the spine of Dracula himself. Used to hear it sometimes, in the dead of night, half talking, half whispering, saying this one word I never heard before, like it was from a language no one on earth spoke. And suddenly, I knew. The spirit was trying to cast a spell on me, so I got me a book and found out that by painting the word I heard on the wall, syllable by syllable, in hoodoo signs, I could counteract the word's power. And you know what? The spirit has not spoken that word or any other since.
What was the word?
Darling, a sack full of water moccasins couldn't get me to say that word out loud. Nor will I write it down.
Water
No,
moccasins.
sir. Not ever, ever, ever.
Oh. Nice to meet you too, Ducky Daring. Yeah, this is my very first time, but I have been enjoying it. Thank you for the lyric, and nice to meet you too. So,
I'll see you later.
Thanks for coming by.
so there's a crystal skull called the Whisperer that is said to whisper to people. And she heard something whispering to her from her wall. Coincidence? Yeah, there's that to discover a new series, especially when it's got plenty of installments. I figured out what that was up with the wall beyond the fireflies. Other than that we pushed in these rocks. I don't see anything else we can interact with, though. Well, that sounds ominous. I'm sure we'll come back here at a later time. We just got some paper which we can make tracings from a certain crypt in this very unusual, well-built cemetery. Or I should say built-up cemetery. We should be able to price the code for a puzzle in a miniature version of the cemetery. No, wait. Blank paper. Coffin. Oh, right. We got that. Coffin lower right. Snake lower left. Anyway, I think those are the ones we haven't done. Bird, which we found a copy of on the floor earlier. And crossed bones. It's crazy now whenever I see bones in video games or skeletons, I often start thinking of the credits song from The Seventh Guest. That way. And I'm glad we wrote down that word because we may need to say it to somebody. They're trying to figure out what's going on. I swear I'm not usually this fast at moving through adventure games. I'll just happen to come in at a time when I'd just gotten close to figuring several things out. No, not the Indiana Jones crystal skull, the Nancy Drew crystal skull. Just... Well, from what I've heard, yeah. I know people don't tend to like the Indiana Jones one so much, and I like this one, so I'm assuming it's a lot better. Yeah, that was one of the conspiracy theories they mentioned in this, but knowing the Nancy Drew books, I doubt it's aliens. I mean, crystal skulls... I mean, I know they're a real thing, and they've appeared in several games. There was also a game called The Crystal Skull from, I think, the mid-90s, which I never played or had a copy of. I just remember it. It was... oops, that's the case file. So it's bird, bones, oops, snake, coffin. I don't know the order. Hey, wait. This one has a different border. Oh, they all have slightly different borders. Oh. Snake no here. Are you not a fan of snakes? Or is that a reference to something? Metal Gear Solid meets Dave's not here. This one just looks like flowers. Okay, the coffin's apple. Oh, right, Indy. Why did it have to be snakes? Right, I was always partial to snakes, too. Growing up, we would sometimes get non-venomous ones in our yard. We're gonna go see him in the zoo, and I'm like, hey Mom, can we get a pet Burmese python? And she'd be like, no. It's hard to have a pet that's like, I don't know, 30 feet long. Okay. Snake is, I don't know if that's a snake. It might be a worm. It looks like it's got segments. Like an annelid or something. Solid border. Yeah, I think you're right, wild pyrophire. Where? Okay, looks like worm is down here. Oh. You say coffin was here? I should confirm that. Okay, the bird is the one with the really large leaves or whatever. Nice to have the different borders. Maybe it's a crow. Bones. Right. Sexy border. Yeah, it probably is a raven, or something like that. One of those sinister birds. Bones has little 5-pointed flowers. Okay, the bones has to be the upper right, it looks like. Oh! Oh! Nice, Raven's one of your character names. The Raven is one of my favorite poems. Ravens are cool birds. A key. Bet this led us into that crypt in the cemetery. Are you also a fan of the games by Raven Software? A Soldier of Fortune was one of the earlier games I played on stream. Yeah, that was Raven Software. We'll come back to that clock. No, Raven Software has done a decent number of games. I just know them for a couple. Mostly like Heretic. I love how when they show Nancy, she's like some kind of sinister shadow walking through the graveyards on a rainy night. And the lead-in Cold War Call of Duty. Oh, like in the lead developer. Maybe on the tree. And then over, yeah. Who was that? That wasn't Henry, was it? Okay, and the reason to Call of Duty Black Ops. Should we follow that guy, or? I think he went that way. The only Call of Duty game I've played was Call of Duty 4, but I certainly enjoyed that. Yeah, I guess it was just about a year ago I played it. Nah. He's probably gone. We should just head inside. Sure. Other than Wolfenstein. Oh, I guess the new Wolfensteins. It's nice when the old companies are still around. Yeah, I think that's it. I should probably save at this point. Crypt, mausoleum, whatever. Marianne Boulay. Oh, interesting. They did some Star Wars as well. Claude Boulay. They both died in 1990. Oh, I wonder, would those be Bruno's children? Oh, I don't know. Marcel Boulay. Bruno's grandfather? Fifi Boulay. Is that something? Yeah, long time.
This must be the painting that goes in that empty frame.
Oh. Yeah, the painting was stolen, but why would someone stick it in the crypt? Yes, and Bruno, who was the man who died, was in his mid-90s, I believe it, because we saw his like grave or crypt outside, and it said he was born circa 1910, 1913, thereabouts. And this is set in 2007. Okay. Oh wow, Marcel lived a long time too. Yeah. Not quite as long, but... Oh, that's... Oh, I see now. 18 to 81. That's all. Well, I guess we'd better go give Henry the painting, because I think he said that's the painting of his parents. Yeah.
Hello again.
We're not going to tell
I'll
her
leave you
about
to
it.
your potting.
Come see me anytime.
There he is.
Yes?
Huh.
I'll check back with you later.
Whatever.
He's always saying things like, whatever, and groovy. I guess we should just put the painting back where it belongs. And not tell anyone about what we saw. Yeah. There's a reason there's that stereotype of teenagers just saying, whatever. I mean, at least it's a response. If you don't just say that we'll check back in with him and then he just spins his chair around without another word. We can rearrange the paintings. They have names? No. No. Is that a monkey? Yeah, it looks like a rather angry monkey in that one painting. I'm assuming we don't yet have enough information to know which paintings go where. What is that? Yeah, that one was holding a poodle, or some kind of dog, I suppose. Let's check our task list. We have to manually check them off ourselves.
Still have to do that.
I guess there's more of the garden. Fake books, grandfather clock. Oh,
Did that.
we certainly did that. Oh.
Did that.
Can we clear out our inventory at this point? I feel like we're not going to need some of this stuff anymore. Don't want this to turn into another alone in the dark situation. I still don't know where that card is. I didn't check. That might be more hoodoo symbols. Yeah. This one? No, those are different. Those are like actual letters. Right. 4 and 5. That must be the key. tells us where the paintings go. I bet. Oops. Yeah, like Fifi, Marcel. I can't remember some of the others. B for Bruno, perhaps. Which one's Bruno? Well, which one has a paper-stealing iguana in it? Alright, task list. Call the doctor, who was mysteriously there to find him when he died and who benefits from his will. Gulp.
Check. All done.
Oh. Forgot we already found that.
All done. Check.
Yeah, Nancy's not even subtle about it. I mean, in her to-do list, like, well, I got the key. Make a point of snooping around someone's personal effects and finding out whatever I can.
Can't check that off yet.
You need to know more about them.
Did that. All done. Check.
Do I really need to check off all these? I don't know. Maybe not. I guess it's useful.
Check. All done.
Okay. The simple one to do now is call. What's his name? Buford? Yeah, Gilbert Buford. At this hour, too.
This is Dr. Gilbert Buford's answering service. How may I help you?
I need to talk to Dr. Buford. Could you maybe give me a number where I can reach him?
No, ma'am, I cannot. Is this an emergency?
Sort of. I mean, it's not a medical emergency. See, I'm only going to be in town for a short time, and Dr. Buford and I have this mutual friend who died recently, and I just really need to talk to him about it.
Need some consoling, huh?
Yes, I need some consoling. That's it exactly.
Well, tell you what. It's against the rules to give you his phone number, but I can tell you that now that he's all but retired, Dr. Buford spends most of his evenings at his favorite gumbo stand down in the French Quarter. If you really need to talk to him, you can probably find him there.
Great. Do you know the address?
It's at the corner of Rampart and Domain.
Did you say Rampart and Domain?
I did indeed. Granny Pumpkin's Cajun cooking. They make some darn fine gumbo.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, and I'm truly sorry about your loss.
My loss?
That mutual friend of yours and Dr. Buford's?
Oh, right. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Bye.
Get it together, Nancy. Trying to slip up after you've lied to someone. Mutual friend. More like, you know. Well, too complicated. She might as well go down there. Yes, this game was before Uber and Lyft.
Due to current weather weather and road conditions, cab service to the greater New Orleans area has been temporarily suspended. We regret being unable to serve you at this time.
There's only one thing left to do. Bess, Marvin, get your ass in gear and go snooping.
Hello?
Hi, Bess, it's me.
So what's been happening? Tell me everything.
Well, let's see. Since the last time we talked, I was just about getting
Interesting stuff.
But the reason I called is, I need you to talk to this doctor named Gilbert Buford, who, as it turns out, likes to hang out at a gumbo stand called Granny Pumpkin's Cajun Cookin', which should be right across from our hotel.
You just want me to talk to him? That's it? Nothing nefarious?
Oh, wonderfully
no
coincidental.
Black ops stuff?
He was Bruno Boulay's doctor,
Black Ops.
and apparently his best friend, too. I just need for you to see if he thinks there was anything weird about the way Bruno died.
What do you mean by weird?
I mean, I kind of think maybe Bruno was murdered.
Murdered? By whom?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Everyone's a suspect at this point.
Including
you,
this
Bess.
Gilbert Buford guy?
Well,
Great, I'm gonna be chatting up Jack the Ripper.
oh, I'm sure the guy's fine, but be subtle, just in case.
Well, I can see the gumbo stand from our balcony. If he's the guy that's sitting down there, I guess he looks harmless. Okay, I'll go talk to him.
Thanks, Bess. Let me know what happens.
Cheerio!
Yeah, I've been sitting out there for hours at this point. Yeah, I mean, it probably is fairly warm, even if it's rainy. Maybe.
Why, hello, young lady. How kind of you to grace an old man with your lovely presence.
My name's Bess Marvin. I'm looking for Dr. Gilbert Buford.
Well, it's a pleasure to report that I am he.
Yeah, let's not rat out the answering service.
Do you mind if I join you?
Of course not. A little lively
Oops.
discourse would brighten this gloomy evening considerably. This here is my favorite spot in the whole city. Delicious gumbo, pleasing view, particularly now, I might add.
Doctor, are
I'd
you
like to ask
flirting
you
with
some
me?
questions about Bruno Boulay, if that's okay.
I prefer subject matter of a happier nature, but I do not want to seem inhospitable, so what is it you want to know?
Is it true Dr. Boulay was your best friend?
Is it true that Dr. Boulay was your best friend?
Well, now, I was certainly his best friend, but I cannot honestly say that he was mine. Fact is, while socializing with my fellow man, particularly with pretty young women such as yourself, has always been a source of pleasure for me, Bruno was just the opposite. Unfortunately, the older he got, the more numerous his idiosyncrasies became, and the less concern about their negative effect upon others he became.
Tell us more about these.
His idiosyncrasies didn't bother you?
Now, as a doctor of medicine, I am not only accustomed to dealing with the abnormal, but I find that I'm actually drawn to it. I, for one, thoroughly enjoyed Bruno's outlandish personality. Although, at the same time, I fear it may have played a role in his demise. You see, he died of a myocardial infarction, most likely caused by age-related atherosclerosis. Dying of a heart attack is all too common for people who are socially isolated, and Bruno Boulay had most certainly become that.
Interesting.
Did they do an autopsy on Dr. Boulay?
No. Given Bruno's advanced age and the absence of any indication of foul play, an autopsy was deemed unnecessary, and the body was cremated according to Bruno's wishes.
Did Dr. Boulay ever say anything to you about owning a crystal skull?
Why, yes. Yes, he did. In fact, he showed it to me once. Said it had magical powers. Said owning it was going to allow him to live forever. I thought it was utter nonsense and told him so. Well, he didn't appreciate that at all. Refused to talk to me for a full 2 weeks.
I wonder who else Bruno might have told.
What'd the skull look like?
It was quite beautiful, actually. Life-size, perfect in form and clarity, like a diamond almost. Tell me, Miss Bess, what do you know about that crystal skull?
This friend of mine, who is also a friend of Henry Boulay, you know, Dr. Boulay's great-nephew. Anyway, while she was visiting Henry, she saw this book in Bruno's library about the legendary crystal skulls and was kind of intrigued and thought that since Henry said that you were pretty much Bruno's only friend, maybe Bruno had said something to you about it, and as it turns out, he had. That's all I know.
I see. Well, much as I'd like to believe that skull holds the key to immortality, I'm afraid Bruno's passing proves it's worthless. Although it would make an attractive paperweight, as I recall. Tell your friend not to give it another thought.
Feels like he's leading up to saying he might like the skull, but for a paperweight.
Dr. Boulay's housekeeper says you just happened to walk in just as he was having his heart attack. Is that true?
Indeed it is. I hadn't seen him for a while, so I picked that day to pay him a visit. I walked up to the front door, found it unlocked as usual, opened it, and there he was, lying on the floor in obvious distress. The next thing I know, his housekeeper came running in and started shrieking and carrying on, until finally I sent her out of the room so she could summon an ambulance, and I could once again hear myself think. Then well, let's see. Then I knelt down and saw that he wasn't breathing. So I pulled him away from the doorway so I'd have more room to work on him and began chest compressions. I continued until the medics arrived, but nothing they did made a difference either.
I just noticed he's wearing a bow tie. I don't know if that's an ascot. Probably not. The skeleton who knocked us out was wearing a red ascot.
Was Dr. Boulay unconscious the whole time?
Yes, he was.
Can you remember anything that might indicate what he was doing by the front door? I mean, had he just come in from a walk? Was he wearing a hat? Was he holding anything? Had he dropped something? An umbrella? Sunglasses?
Wait a minute. Why, yes. Yes, he was holding something. A piece of paper. And on the floor next to him was an envelope. He must have collapsed while reading a letter.
Huh.
Do you know what happened to it?
Now, I know the letter was no longer in Bruno's hand when the paramedics arrived, so perhaps he released the letter when I moved him. And yet, I do not recall seeing it on the floor when they wheeled him out the door. Iggy.
What's icky?
Iggy. Iggy is an iguana Bruno befriended, then turned loose in his home. It soon developed the annoying habit of stealing paper and stockpiling it in the vent system.
I have no idea whether iguanas actually do that. Iguanas are awesome, though.
Are you saying an iguana made off with the letter Bruno had been reading?
It would not have been the first time a missing document ended up in Iggy's possession. Renee would periodically call me saying the lizard had absconded with one of Bruno's prescriptions and would I please write her up a replacement. In any case, Bruno once told me he was training Iggy. Said he taught Iggy to retrieve the things it had stolen.
Do you think it's possible that Renee caused Dr. Boulay's death by, say, hoarding the pills from those missing prescriptions and giving them to him all at once?
No. Had he died of an overdose of the medications I had prescribed, the manner of his death would have been quite different. But he died of a heart attack. Of that I am certain. However, I know for a fact that Renee is deeply involved in the practice of hoodoo. And as Bruno's housekeeper, she had ample opportunity to use it against my poor old friend.
You mean hoodoo really works?
Young lady, never, ever underestimate the power of suggestion. If a person believes in something, even on a subconscious level, fantasy can easily become fact. And who knows what rubbish Renee filled Bruno's mind with? Drink this, don't eat that. This brings good luck, that brings bad, day in and day out. Even if he said he didn't believe a word of it, who knows how much his subconscious was absorbing? He was very old and vulnerable. So could Renee have caused Bruno to have that fatal heart attack? There's not a doubt in my mind she could indeed.
How could the power of suggestion also work for the crystal skull's property of immortality? Or are you not willing to go quite that far, Doctor?
Thanks for your time.
Feel free to drop by anytime.
Bess has no contacts other than Nancy. Not even George, because, as we've established, George is conspicuously missing from this game. Possibly dead.
Hello?
Hi, Nance. Okay, here's what's been happening at mine.
And that's pretty much it.
Good work. I'll take it from here. Thanks again.
Good luck. Bye.
You know, I think this is probably a good place to stop. Right before we embark on a search for letter-filching iguanas. Close enough. And it is. It's gone, what, 1:30? Yes, I think that's a good time to wrap stream up. And that's the next installment of my bloody camera's frozen again. I should probably get a new camera. See if it decides to reactivate or not. Ah, there. That seems to be better. Sorry about that, chaps. And, yeah. That's the Nancy Drew and the Legend of the Crystal Skull. Which, I think we made some good progress tonight, and I'm still enjoying it. Yeah, and not getting stumped quite so much this time, which is always good. Yeah, I'll find somebody to raid, but tell you guys what's going to be coming up in the near future. I am stream on Sundays and Wednesdays in the evenings and Saturdays late afternoons, and on Wednesday we'll be continuing the They Hunger trilogy, a classic horror mod for Half-Life, and Saturday I might continue the haunted PS1 demo disc, or we might have our special guest Fluffbomb Cheerglimmer back to finish playing Spooky's House of Jump Scares. And then on Sunday, we'll be playing more of Nancy Drew, Legend of the Crystal Skull. Probably not finishing it, though. I bet we have a couple of streams left of it. And yeah, it's great to have the raids and so many new people here. Let me go ahead and see who's still online. I think we raided him not that long ago. Oh, Stealthy Golem's playing Deus Ex. Yeah. Stealthy Golem's streams are always fun. He has a great sense of humor. And I love Deus Ex. I actually played it for the first time a couple of years ago. 2018, maybe 19, and it's a classic. Yeah. That's probably a good place to send you guys over to. Oh, Dangerous Dave. My pleasure. Thank you so much for hanging out. Oops. /raid. There. Freaking OBS keyboard lag. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you again to everybody who's here, and everybody who came in with the raids, and all the old friends too. Whether you're chatting or lurking, it means a lot to me that you would be here and spend your Sunday night / Monday morning with me. Feel free to follow me on Twitch. You'll get notifications when I'm live, and on Twitter and MySpace, where I post stream announcements and sometimes polls and random things. And you can find my VODs of past streams on YouTube. Almost caught up with all of them. I just uploaded Delaware St. John Volume 1 today. Hey, no, thank you, Taggy Rob. It's my pleasure. Good to have you here. Oh, right. And your Monday evening, Dangerous Dave. So, thank you again, everybody. I hope you all have a good night. Say hi to Stealthy Golem, and don't get knocked out by any skeletons, or stung to death by any hornets. God, I hate hornets. But then again, who doesn't? Don't mind skeletons so much. Yeah, okay, we're raiding now.